Well, welcome to part 2 of my video on how to spray a cabinet. Now, as you may recall, I had made the decision from the very beginning to go and clear coat this cabinet. Now, on the other hand, if I would have decided instead of clear coating it, in other words, leaving it fairly natural in color, if I had wanted to stain it, I would have used a different approach for sealing the pores of the wood before applying the top coat. First of all, I would have used a sealer that was between 3 and 6% of solids. And the reason being is that the 3 to 6% in solids will go and seal the wood, but still leave it open enough for the stain to penetrate. However, that wasn't the case here, because as I said, I'm planning on applying a clear coat to this, a protective clear coat. And that clear coat is going to be Target Coatings EM2000, which is an alkyd varnish. And so it's a water-based alkyd varnish, and it does tone the wood somewhat, which is something that I'm looking forward to because I want to continue to see that natural beauty come out in the wood. Okay, so I've sprayed 2 coats of sanding sealer, and I sanded between the coats, and to be honest with you, it really feels smooth enough to be able to go directly to applying the top coat. However, I was in a bit of a bind yesterday, and I got tied up with some other things, and I was unable to finish it and get the top coat on right away. So I'm going to go ahead and sand first again, and I'm going to be sanding with P1000, which is using these sponges. And so it's a Mirka product, and it's 1000 grit, so it's really quite fine. I've also got some 600 here. I might knock the inside a little bit because I will be putting a top coat protectant on the inside of the cabinet, because whatever you put on the outside, you should probably put the same on the inside. So, well, I guess I better get at the sanding. Take care. So after I finished sanding everything down, again, the interior I did P600, and the exterior components of the cabinet, I used a P1000 sanding foam pad, and I do it by hand. At this point, there's no need to really pull out a machine because there's nothing very serious to be done. However, I did follow that up with a thorough vacuuming down to get rid of as much dust as I possibly can. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, why didn't you just go and wait till you get into the spray booth and then use the hose and just blow the dust off? Well, I find that the vacuum does a little bit more thorough job. And besides that, yeah, I will go ahead and use the spray, or pardon me, the air blower to go and clean it off once it is into the spray booth. Well, now that I've finished vacuuming the piece off, I want to make sure that there is no crud on it. So I have a mixture of 50-50 tap water and denatured alcohol, and I'm going to spray that onto a rag, and these are just the standard blue shop cloths that I find are just excellent because they don't leave any residue on the pieces there. And what you do is you just dampen the cloth, and then I just wipe it down, and this ensures that there's not going to be any debris left and such that can cause problems with the finish. Just takes a few moments. Well, now that we've completed our seal coat, allowed it to cure, sanded it, vacuumed it off, and then wiped it down with a concoction of 50-50 denatured alcohol and tap water, we're ready to start spraying the top coat. Now, the procedure for spraying the top coat is exactly that which we followed to go and spray the shellac, which was our seal coat. So we started on the inside, completed that, and then worked our way around one gable across the front and then through to the back of the next gable. And in so doing, we ensured that we had very, very little, if any, overspray on the front and sides of the cabinet, which is the money side areas, right? Now, the top coat that I've selected for this particular project is Target Coatings EM2000, which is a water-based alkyd varnish. And I found it does an excellent job. It gives it a warmish tone similar to that which you would get if you were using a solvent-based varnish. Excellent product. I highly recommend it. Now to spray it, I'm going to be using one of my Fuji spray air compressor guns. So this is their mid-pressure gun, and it's their MP V8 series. An excellent gun, and I found that when I'm spraying the top coats, this is indeed my spray gun of choice. So I used my turbine-based HVLP T75G with of course the same concept, having the PPS cup on top, and I found that works really well for spraying seal coats. But when I want to do the top coats, I like my mid-pressure gun. Now, because it's a higher pressure, you will have a little bit more overspray. So that's one of the disadvantages of the mid-pressure guns, but it lays it down just amazingly. I've never felt bad about laying down a top coat with this particular gun. So let's quit talking and let's get into the booth and spraying. Well, I'm really happy with how the cabinet carcass has come out. And now I'm ready to go and roll it out of the spray booth and allow it to cure and focus on the remaining parts, which are all just mostly flat pieces, the top and the back and the drawer fronts primarily. Now the boxes of the drawers themselves, I'm going to spray just a little bit differently. And because it's so simple, I don't want to go and waste any footage explaining it to you. But quite simply stated, what I'll do is I'll take a sanding sealer, probably Target Coating ZM1000, and I'm just going to spray one light coat on the inside and the outside and allow that to dry. And then I'll just take paste wax and steel wool and I'll just wipe it down. and then that'll just put a light coat of wax on those parts. And the thing I like about doing it in that manner is that it dries, it cures very quickly because there's so little finish on it, and it doesn't impart a strong smell of finish on the interior of the drawer boxes, which may take years to dissipate. So that's it. I hope you got a lot out of my video series on how I spray cabinets, and I hope that the accompanying article really helps you out an awful lot. All the best to you with your spray finishing. Cheers!